Hi everyone! Thanks so much for joining me in my final episode, step number 5 of my 5-part series. The series is Minimize Your Closet to Maximize Your Wardrobe, where I'm teaching you how to define and manage your style. And in today's final step, we're going to go over the ultimate shopping guide on how to shop for what you need. So let's do a little recap of the series before we get into that. So the first step that we took was we learned what our style is. So before we could do anything and shop for things, we need to know what we're looking for and what are the styles and pieces and colors and patterns that we're trying to get after. And so that's what we did in step 1. We moved on to step 2, where we learned how to cleanse our closet. So based on the style that we're going for, we whittled down our closet down to the pieces that match that, so that when we go shopping, we actually know what we have in our closet, what we need. We can eliminate pieces that way. From there, we did our mixing and matching, so took the pieces we have and figured out how to make outfits with them that match that style we're going for. And as we did that, we then figured out what we were actually missing to complete those outfits. And a lot of that we learned in step number 4, which was figuring out your closet must-haves. So now in step number 5, we're bringing it all together in order to complete your style and your closet, and we're going to do that by learning how to shop for those pieces that you need, those pieces that you're missing. So, just like I have with all the other parts of the series, I've made handy dandy worksheets, lots of fun. I've got some fun little infographics on here, which I love. If you want to get these and you're not watching this on my website, click the link below and you'll be taken to my website where you'll find the video and you'll find the link to these worksheets. If you're on my website right now, you just look at the link right below me that says worksheets, click on that, and these will be delivered to your inbox. So that way you can follow along with me. Now, to get started, the first thing that you need to know, obviously, when you're shopping is what you're shopping for. And so we've already covered that, especially in the last step, so I just wanted to kind of touch on it now. What you want to do for the first thing when you're shopping is create that shopping list. So what I want you to do is look from your closet cleanse step, which was step number 2, figure out how many pieces you need in your wardrobe. There were 3 different sections. It had a breakdown of all the numbers of pieces you need. You compare that to your closet to see what you're missing. So now you have that part of your checklist ready. The other part was merging that with the closet must-haves from the last step, step number 4. And that was a perfect little checklist. You could just print that out, cut out your side, the women's or the men's list, and then write anything else you need on the back of that piece of paper. So I want you to have that armed and ready to go. The next thing, the step number 2 in learning how to shop for what you need, is then to move on and to find pieces that fit you right. And so that really dictates when you're shopping, where to go, what to look for. You need to know what fits you right, because that's the biggest piece in this whole puzzle, is to make sure pieces fit you well and are comfortable, because then you'll love them and wear them again and again. So we'll go to the handy dandy worksheets here. The first page in the worksheet is a guide, one for women, one for men, on fit. So what you'll find here is a breakdown of all the different factors that can influence fit, so that's what you need to be thinking of and looking for when you're in the stores. Some things that I put at the top that are just good to know as a general fit factor when shopping is that right now brands are cutting their clothes a bit wider, a bit more boxy. I know it's not ideal, nobody really likes that, but that's what's happening, so we gotta work with it. And each store that you go to is cutting their pieces differently. So that means you need to know when you're in the stores who cuts what in what way and what fits my body best. And I know that that can be difficult, but we're gonna kind of walk through what that looks like. But because of that, of the different way people cut things, of the different brands and their different sizing, you'll probably notice that when you go into stores, you're one size in one store and a different size in the other. And that's okay, because at the end of the day, the size doesn't matter, it's just how it fits you. So when you're going into stores, I want you to remember that. I want you to remember that don't look at the number, grab a couple different sizes, and then pick what fits, it's comfortable, and it actually shows off your figure without being too tight. So those are just a little kind of tips to learn before you go into the store. When it comes to women, we'll talk about that first. You've got 5 different factors or things to think about when you're shopping. So the first thing to think about is knowing, there's no better way to say it than knowing your chest size. So I have a very small chest, so I can wear pieces that are more high up because it's not creating any kind of shelf or anything here because I don't really have much going on. But for women who have a larger chest, I highly recommend doing either a scoop neck or something that's V-cut. Obviously, be careful. You don't want to get too V-cut if you do have a larger chest, but you want to have like a tasteful balance there. But the problem when you have a larger chest is that if you have something too high up, it creates like a shelf. I don't have any other better descriptors than that, but it's going to create a shelf here and it's just going to draw your eye up to your chest. And most of the time it's not comfortable for you either. So that's why you want to go with a scoop neck or a V-neck. It's just something that you need to take note of. The second thing that you'll have noticed on the list is shirt length. So a lot of my clients come to me and one of the problems they have is they actually have a longer torso than most people. So when they go and put on a shirt that I'm a petite person, so on me this shirt is gonna be a little longer, they go put it on and it's a little too short. So as a rule of thumb, when you're looking for shirts, and like I said, different brands are gonna be cut differently. Some things are gonna be cut longer and be more in your favor just because that's how the designer is. Other pieces are gonna be shorter, you're gonna wanna avoid them. But as a rule of thumb, when you have a shirt on, you want it to be at least 2 inches past your hips. So your hips are, where your pants are typically sitting on, you want it at least 2 inches, around 2 inches past there. So when you've got a longer torso, put on a shirt and pay attention to that. Some styles that are more, I would say preppy is probably the one style that is very okay with this, would be if they are a little bit shorter and hit you at about your waist because you're typically tucking in shirts or things like that. So that is one thing to just kind of note. These are obviously a lot of general tips, but for the most part, you want it to be 2 inches past your hips. When we're talking about tunics though, I know a lot of people like to wear tunics, especially if you're in the boho or the casual style because they're easy, they're relaxed, and they're flowy. Something to note with tunics, you want them to at least cover or almost cover your butt, which means they're also covering your front. So your front and butt need to be covered, especially because in those cases, a lot of the times you want to wear leggings with them, and leggings are not pants, so we need to make sure that our tops are long enough to cover. The next thing that I have on here are dress styles, and so we're going to look at this high level. Basically, you've got your fit and flare dress and you've got your shift dress. There's a bunch of other dresses in between, but like I said, high level, this is what we're going to look at. People who should be in fit and flare dresses are people, this is my dress, so I can speak to this highly, are people who have a smaller waist, and then you can have, if you have a larger chest, it'll work for you, but you probably have a bigger butt. And so the reason a fit and flare works so well is because it's highlighting your small waist and then giving you room down below where it's not too tight. If you have more of a kind of even throughout shape, so maybe you've got good stuff on both the top and the bottom, so you're evened out there, or maybe your stomach is pretty much even with the rest of your body, then shift dresses are perfect for you because it's just gonna align with your body, it'll elongate your body, and it'll give you some room to just feel comfortable without feeling tight in something. Versus a fit and flare is gonna hit you at your waist and flare out and attract and make an awkward shape for you. It's just not the most ideal and slimming shape for you. But shift dresses on people who, let's say, are like me, you don't have a chest but you have a butt, the problem that you run into is that when the dress is on, it's hugging your butt because you've got to have it big enough to fit around it, but then you've got all this extra space up here. You've got extra space in your chest, extra space in your hips and waist, and it just doesn't fit you right. It doesn't create a good shape for you, and so that's why fit and flares are better for you. So keep that in mind. Next thing we're gonna go over are your pants. So when you're looking at your pants, you wanna make sure that they fit your figure. So we don't want any bagging in the knees and we don't want any bagging in the butt. Those are important. At the same time though, you also wanna make sure that the pants aren't like spray painted on and that they're, you don't see the zipper pulling apart or anything like that. So you need a fine balance between fit, function, and making sure they're not too tight. When we talk about pants lengths, and I had a couple people ask this question, so I thought I'd bring that in here for kind of the clothing factors that you're considering when you're shopping. For pants lengths, with dress pants in particular, when you're wearing flats, booties, or heels, typically in the summertime is when we're talking about heels here, You want your pants to hit right at the top of your ankle. So when it's right around there, it's going to show enough skin. It's almost like a capri, but not that short. So you want it right at the top of your ankle, versus when you're in heels in the winter and fall times, you might want them to be a little bit longer to just give you a little bit more coverage during that chilly time. And so in that case, you want your pants to hit at about halfway down the ankle. You still need to show a little bit of skin so you don't look like one contiguous piece of clothing, but you can have them a little longer. And so there's two ways to look at that. You can either decide to have a summer pair of work pants and a winter wear of work pants, or you can just have the shorter pair if you're okay with that, because when you're wearing your booties, you're most likely gonna need that shorter pair of pants so that you're hitting the top of the booty. So you could look at it two ways. Again, variety is gonna be dictated in there, how many pieces you actually like to have in your closet. So those are just factors to consider. The last thing that I'm going to touch on when you are looking for pieces to shop for and consider are going to be your shoes. So when it comes to shoes, my biggest tip there is to always feel the soles of them. You want to make sure that they're nice and cushy, that they're comfortable, and that they're going to give you some support, because at the end of the day, if you're uncomfortable in your shoes, it's not going to be a good time. A couple things that I put on the guide here is that you can buy inserts for your shoes, you can buy heel, like little heel padding for your shoes, or you can also have those no-show socks for certain, shoes or types of shoes that you're wearing. One thing to be careful with the no-show socks is literally you do not want them to show. And I know sometimes people will put them on and you'll see a hint of them come through. You don't want that. So just be careful when you're getting them. And also make sure to get the kind that have like a little gel bar around the heel. That'll help them keep staying up instead of slipping down, which I know can be a struggle with those. So those are your factors there. We're gonna move on to men's now. Men, we're gonna look at your side of the page with your fit guide tips. Just like I said, as the generalization before, just know when you're going into the stores that things are going to be cut a little weird or bigger than normal. So based on the stores you like to shop at, just take a note of how they cut things. But for cuts for men, they actually have it a little bit easier because they do have a handful of different shirt styles that are cut specifically for different body types. And so that's super helpful for you guys. The first option is slim fit. So when you're looking at dress shirts, a slim fit is best for somebody who is skinnier. They might be taller, but they're skinnier in their waist area. And so it's cut more slimming to their body there and in the arms. So that's a good option for you. When it comes to athletic fit, which is another option, those are going to be cut a little broader in the shoulders and in the arms, so you have more room if you've got some more muscles there. But then it'll be a little bit tighter in your stomach area, and so that's because you're probably a bit more trim there. So you should look for athletic fit if you do a lot of working out and you've got those broader shoulders. Your regular fit or your standard fit is going to just be typical sizing throughout, what you would expect to see in a button-down shirt, just for an average size male. And then your classic fit shirts are gonna actually run slightly larger. So everything is just gonna have a little bit extra room because it's the classic style of shirt, which is a little older. The next thing to think about are your jackets. And so when it comes to jackets and we're talking about fit, there are two factors to look for. The first thing you're gonna look for is having it fit in your shoulders, and the second is gonna be in your waist. So making sure that you don't have too much space down here in the body of your suit, and making sure that it fits you real well right up here at your shoulders. Now, if you don't have that, if you have too much down here, or the shoulders are too small or even too big, then the problem you'll run in is that you're looking like you're wearing your dad's suit, and we obviously don't want that. We want it to fit you well and feel tailored. When we move on to pants, the biggest thing you need to note with pants is their length. So for women, we talk about the length of how it hits at your ankle. For men, we're talking about how it breaks, and when we're talking about break, it's on the shoe. So what I recommend for men with pant break is that it's between the quarter top of your shoe and half. So it's called a half to a quarter break. And so what that means is when you're looking at your shoe, the top part where the tongue is, that's closest to your ankle, what you want is it to hit anywhere from a little bit lower than the top all the way down to about the quarter top of your shoe. So it's gonna break a little bit. It's not gonna be too much where it's a lot of fabric that's all kind of crunched up at the bottom, but it's also not gonna be so short that it looks like floods and that when you're sitting down you could see your socks really clearly. So you wanna be in that in-between, a medium break, as some people would say. And then the last thing on the list that you need to consider for fit and as you're walking into the stores is, again, same as ladies' shoes. And so like I said, take those shoes, pick them up, feel the soles. You want to make sure that you've got some good comfort there. A little squish is always good versus if it's rock solid, you know you're not going to be comfortable in it. But do remember that you can buy insoles if you need to. But I would look for a good quality squishy shoe first before you do that. All right, moving on to the next and last part of this step is where to actually shop for these pieces. So we know what we're looking for when we're going in the stores. After that, we already know what we're actually looking for as in our shopping list. So now let's decide where we're gonna go. So one thing that I like to touch on before we talk about specifically where is just in-person versus online shopping. And so with in-person shopping, there's a lot of pros and cons to both. The nice thing about in-person shopping is that you can touch and feel the garment. You could try it on right then and there. You'll have a variety of different sizes and then you're done with the whole returns game. So that's a bonus. But it does take a lot of extra time to plan, to get out to the store, to know exactly what you're looking for. And a lot of stores now have a lot less variety than they used to because they've put so much inventory online. So you've got a kind of issue there. When it comes to online shopping, it's a lot more convenient, which is great, and you have a lot more options, which is fantastic. But then you get into the returns game. So you just need to be careful because you won't know what you have until it's at your doorstep and you're trying it on. So what I recommend is if you can shop in person, do that. It'll end up saving you time in the long run. But if you do shop online, it's best to shop at stores where you already know how that piece is gonna fit you. So if you shop at, let's say, J. Crew Factory a lot, they make similar silhouettes in their clothing and switch out the patterns. The best way to do that is to then keep going there. You already know it fits you, you already know what size you are in it, just switch out your patterns in that way. Another way that I'm actually helping in terms of this kind of battle between in-person and online and returns is with my mobile boutique. So I always take my clients first into my mobile boutique to shop. And some exciting news is that I'm actually coming out with a custom clothing line. So this clothing line, it's in the works now, so I won't give too many details, but basically you'd be able to get a shirt, choose your patterns, choose the colors and everything, and make sure that it fits you properly. So more on that will be coming soon once that line is officially launched. But to talk about ladies first on where to shop, I broke it down by the pieces that you'd be looking for. So let's first talk about work blouses. The stores that I highly recommend women shop for work blouses at are Nordstrom, Nordstrom Rack, Loft, J. Crew Factory, which for most of you, you'll probably do that online unless you happen to have the outlet near you, but the online shopping is pretty great there. Saks Off 5th, I recommend doing that online as well. It's easier to sift through their inventory than it is to do that in person, and you can just see the deals better and filter more, so I prefer doing the online there. TJ Maxx, you can always find a steal there. I recommend that with blouses more than other pieces, which we'll get into here. And then Last Call by Neiman Marcus, that is another one like Off 5th where I suggest shopping online instead of in person. I know we don't have an in-person store around here, so I'm not sure how frequent those are, so shopping online for that's perfect. When we get over to basics, and so for your basics, I'm talking about typically undergarments, camis, things like that. The Style Foundry has some great options for you. I've got great camis in all different types, in regular and plus, so if you need those, let me know. Skinny shirt is a great basic undergarment if you like to layer with the collar popping out. So that's a great option for you. The collar shows and it looks like a normal button down, but then the body of it is actually just like a cami material. So it doesn't create all that extra fabric that you've put a sweater over top of, and it just creates a nice smooth line. You can even get it with the tail, shirt tails that hang out the bottom too. So that's a great option. And then for people who are looking for some shapewear, I always recommend Spanx. So you can either get those at a local retailer, Nordstrom Rack even carries them at a discount, which I love. So those are great options for you when it comes to basics. When we talk about petites, so someone little and short like me, I always recommend J. Crew Factory because they have a petite line. Loft has a great petite line, especially their outlet store. And Nordstrom, you can always find good stuff there. But when you're my long torso ladies, who I talked about earlier, what I recommend is Macy's has great options. And so they're not specifically labeled like long or tall, but what they do have is you can notice in their pictures when something is a bit longer. So I do recommend that. eShakti is another great website that they allow you to customize a shirt, so you can choose a longer length if you need to. You could choose a different arm length if you'd like, so that's a good option for you too. As well as Loft has their own tall section, so depending on your situation, sometimes long torso women can go with a tall shirt and it'll work. Sometimes it's just too big and it doesn't work. You need to be somewhere in between, so that's where one of these other retailers would be better for you. When we talk about dresses, we've got your work dresses and your casual dresses. For work, I recommend TJ Maxx, Nordstrom Rack has great options, and then a website called Boden. They have some great options as well. Boden is a little bit more pricey. It's really great quality stuff, but just something to note there. When it's casual dresses, I recommend Athleta has great casual dresses, cute prints, super comfortable. Those are a little bit more pricey too because they are of a higher quality. Target always has great dresses to throw on, you know, the kind that you'd throw on to go to the grocery store or wear during the summertime. Great options there, as well as Loft Outlet. They have some great summer dresses, typically in the cotton, easy, flowing, throw-on kind of dresses. So definitely recommend that. After that, we're talking about pants. So we've got your dress pants and we've got your jeans. Now at the Style Foundry, I have awesome dress pants. They have this thin, credible fabric is what it's called. So they're almost like wearing a legging, but they look professional and dressy. And then they've got an built-in slimming panel, so super comfortable. So obviously I recommend those. But Nordstrom Rack has great options as well. You can really find some great pants there. The other option for jeans is, I again say Nordstrom Rack or the Style Foundry. The jeans that I have are actually a little extra long, so it's good for everybody because even though I'm short, it gives me a great cuff. And if you are taller, they're actually going to fit and hit you past your ankles. So we've got a win-win situation there. When you do go shopping at Nordstrom Rack for jeans, I highly recommend Paige Denim. They're great quality. I used to wear them before I got them into the boutique, got in my own jeans to the boutique. I used to wear them all the time, and they would last me about a year, and I'd wear them almost every day. So they're great quality, super comfortable. They've got a good amount of stretch without giving, which is what you never want to have, is when they stretch out too much and just give out on you. So you want that good balance. Those two brands will offer that. And then lastly, when we talk about shoes, I recommend going to Nordstrom Rack. If you're there, the best brands to look for are Sam Edelman, Lucky Brand, Dolce Vita, MIA, Vince Camuto, and Frye. So I know that's a lot. That's why we've got the worksheet so you can just look at it when you're in the store. I also recommend Soul Society. Their shoes are great and super comfortable. And Zappos, of course, makes life so easy where you can buy them online. They come the next day. It's super quick. Returns are a breeze. So I highly recommend them. Shoes there, Rockports, Clarks are great. Dr. Scholl's actually has a really cute line on there and they're super comfortable. So if you need a good pair of work shoes, that could be good for you. And then Sam Edelman, again, you can find those on Zappos as well. The last one I recommend for shoes is Target. And so for Target, they have great summer sandals, you know, easy gladiators to throw on, as well as great chunky heels for date night. And the beauty of the chunky heels for date night there is, I don't know what Target has with Steve Madden, but they have these same exact shoes that Steve Madden offers at a way lower price. So I don't know if they have a private label thing going there or what's going on, but it's the same style. So you know you're getting a good style, but since you're only paying like $30 for the shoes, you don't feel bad at the end of the year when they're all trashed and you can't wear them anymore. It's just perfect in and out for the season based on the trends. All right, men, we're gonna get to you now for your shopping guide. We're going over the similar pieces that we went with women, but obviously it's gonna differ for where you're gonna shop. So the first thing is your different types of shirts. So for sweaters and dress shirts, I recommend going to Nordstrom, Nordstrom Rack, TJ Maxx, J. Crew Factory. Again, that's most likely online depending on where you live. and Banana Republic. They have awesome options for you there. A lot of those wrinkle-free, easy to wash types of dress shirts. Sweaters are going to be all the classic quarter zips that I recommend you get. So those are great options there. For polos, I recommend Izod. They typically have outlet stores, so I would definitely check there, but they're in that correct material that I talked about in step 4. So those are awesome. And Nordstrom Rack actually has a lot of great options there too online. So you can check there for the correct polos that you're looking for. And then casual shirts, I would suggest either TJ Maxx or Nordstrom Rack. They have great different styles of easy throw-on cotton shirts for you at, a steal of a price. So that's where I recommend you look for those pieces. When it comes to jackets for you men, I recommend either Nordstrom Rack. They do have a section of suits where you can either buy the whole suit, you can just buy the jacket and a different pair of pants, but for the most part, everything there is great quality and typically fits well, plus they have a tailor on site, which is super helpful. Brooks Brothers, great quality stuff. I know here in Cleveland we have an outlet, which is helpful because it can get a little pricey, but the way that those fit they're made well, so they fit very good. Nordstrom, obviously another great place. They have their tailor on site too and has a great different selection of jackets, so I recommend checking there. And then Banana Republic, they have good options too, especially when you go to the outlets. You can get a good deal for a sport coat that you just want to throw on, and it's not going to be part of a full suit. So good options there. When we come to dress pants and jeans, same stores you can go to for both of those. I recommend Nordstrom Rack, Nordstrom, or Banana Republic. They have great options for jeans and dress pants there at great prices, of course, and they all seem to hit most of my male clients the same way, so that's a good sign. The other type of pants you're looking for are chinos, and so for chinos, I recommend J. Crew Factory online. They have awesome selection, they fit well, and they last a while, which is good. I actually recommend Target. They have a new line, I don't quite remember what the line is called, but it's a new line for men there, and the stuff is great quality, and the chinos are great, and they offer a bunch of different sizings, so that's a good option for you. And then Banana Republic, again, they do have some great chinos that you can throw on to dress your outfit up or down, depending on the type of outfit you're wearing. And then lastly, we're looking at shoes. So for shoes, I recommend Clarks, Johnson & Murphy's, Nordstrom Rack, Sperry, or GH Bass. They typically have great options. Most of them have outlet stores as well, so you can get that high quality shoe at a great price. And you're just gonna have good quality there. They all seem to have some good feel to them, nice cushion like I told you to look for, so that is what I recommend there. Whew. I know this has been a lot of information. This whole series has been so fun to share with you. I hope that you've enjoyed it, and I hope that you've been able to catch all the steps. If you haven't caught all the steps, then make sure to head to my website. Again, link is below, and catch up, and hopefully you'll see some more series after that I am working on. Every month I'd like to have a new series for you where you can learn. So if you have questions, if you have suggestions about other series that you'd like to see, leave me a comment or shoot me a message. I'd love to hear it. And I'd also love you to comment and let me know what your favorite part of the series is. So comment here on YouTube, or if you're checking this out on social media, leave a comment there and let me know what you've loved about this series, what else you'd love to learn, and I'd love to provide that information with you. Thank you guys so much for joining me on my Min to Max series, and I look forward to sharing with you more soon. Bye!